folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep Podcast, episode 32. My name is Ruth, and I will be your host here. And as you can see, I am coming to you again from my backyard, where our afternoon weather here is just beautiful. It's a little partly cloudy and sunny, and no rain as of yet to speak of. There is a decided nip in the air, however, and so I think it's kind of turning a bit fallish, so which is fine by me. If you're new here, welcome. This is my podcast about fiber-related things that I get up to, mostly crocheting, knitting, and spinning your own yarn. I am joined today by my co-host Cooper, so you might hear him tapping around the deck here. He likes to be out here with me while I'm recording. If you have joined me before, welcome back. So glad to see you and also hear from you. So please leave me a comment if something resonates with you here on the channel. And also give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. Today is Labor Day in the States, and it's a national holiday that we celebrate to honor and recognize the American worker, laborer. I was kind of reading a little bit about the history today on it, because it tends to, it's a holiday that tends to just kind of pass me by, and I never really get to reflect on its true meaning. So that was nice to read a little bit about the history of Labor Day in the States. All right, so I'm going to get to it. I have very sketchy notes today, so we'll see how it goes. Let me make sure I'm on the right page. I usually start with crochet, then I'll discuss some knitting, and then any spinning I've done, and then any activities around the farm, any kind of shenanigans I've gotten to during the past couple of weeks. So, all right, so I'll start with crochet. And first is an update on my ongoing project. And if you've been with me, you know I've been working on these. These are the Janie joggers. So this is a crochet pattern, and it is for a pair of pants. Very nicely fitted pants, I must say. So they are done top down, and so it's great because you can try them on as you go. And I am doing mine in a fingering weight from Jaggerspun, and the fiber content is 90% superwash wool and 10% silk, and the colorway is Riverwalk. So it's this nice kind of variegated blue, green, and tan, and it feels so soft. It's really nice. So as I've been trying on the joggers, I just keep thinking, oh, this is going to be great in the winter time. This it's going to be nice and cozy. All right, so let me show you my progress here. I'm so excited. I'm still on the first leg of the pants. I've got the upper part done, but I'm doing the right leg right now. So I got to stand up because it is getting down. This is past the knee point for me. And as you can see, decreasing gradually down the joggers. So yeah, some stitch markers here to mark my place, so when I go back to do the next leg, I know what I'm doing. This pattern is so well written, really. She just walks you through everything. Some short rows in the back to kind of add more material to the bum area. Yeah, and these fit like a glove. She really took some time and did all the math here. I as well did some math with the leg because I'm shorter than the average bear, so I needed to just reconfigure it a little bit. I took an inch off the length that she has in the pattern, just because my legs are short. So yeah, and I'm really enjoying the way this yarn is working out. And I've got so many people now kind of just tracking my progress with these because they're so unusual, I guess. But who knows, you know, I may start a trend. So yeah, really liking them. I'm even thinking about what I'm going to wear with these. So yeah, so as I'm working on them. But I really did make some progress on this leg over the past 2 weeks, and I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to get to the end now, just to make sure that all my measurements work out. So when I have a pattern, I tend to write all over it. You won't see it on this because I don't want to give away any secret sauce, but I do all sorts of calculations. I scribble, I draw pictures. So just to provide some guidance along the way. So. But yeah, her patterns are wonderful. This is the second pattern I'm doing from Courtney Clark, who is Tinderbox. She, actually, let's see, it's ilovetinderbox.com or at ilovetinderbox. So her patterns are on Ravelry. She also has her own website. And yeah, I'm using a really small hook. Well, not really small. I mean, it isn't steel. The steel hooks are much smaller. But this is an aluminum hook, and it's a C2 or a 2.75 millimeter hook. And yeah, that's coming right along. I'm like in a rhythm now and cruising along with those. So yeah, so stay tuned. We're getting those towards completion. So my next project, I kind of picked up on a thread that came across I think it was Facebook and Instagram, but I am on Vicki Brown Designs newsletter, so I think that's probably where it came from. But what Vicki Brown, she's an indie dyer in the UK, dyes her own yarn, and she wanted to pick up kind of where Joanne Scrace left off. Joanne Scrace was quite a mover and shaker in the crochet community. She retired from her business, but every year she put out a crochet mystery make-along on her website. It was kind of a club website, you know, you paid monthly to belong. But I think Vicki was missing it this year, and probably a lot of the rest of us were too. So she designed her own mystery shawl to share with others, and she also dyed yarn sets to go with it. You didn't have to buy her yarn, but her yarn is really, really nice. So, but anyway, it's called the Oblique Shawl, and right now all you'll see is the yarn in the black and white. But yeah, it started this past Thursday. You get a clue every Thursday for 5 weeks. And I elected to get her yarn, and this colorway, you have 100 grams of the main color, and that's the color name there. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is her sock base, and that's the color, which I tend to look at this type of green a lot lately. But yeah, actually this was a total secret. The main color was a total secret. The only listing she had on her website at the time for the particular yarn, the yarns that she had for this mystery make-along were these two. And I kind of like those two together when I saw them on the website. So I said, you know, whatever this goes with, I'm sure I'm going to like. So this is color A, and this is in her Socks Yay, which is the 75% fine superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is the Malachite colorway. And then this one is the same base, but the ruby colorway. yeah, and so she paired these two up with this one. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And so far, I have been able to keep up. I did do the first clue entirely, so here it is. I'm still unclear. I think this is the right side. So yeah, kind of some lace eyelets in there, some textured stitches going on, and some color to boot. So yeah, very pretty. I'm liking how the main color is working up, and then also how the contrast colors are complementing it. So kind of a the shape of a kite right now. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. I like mystery make-alongs. I like to see how things develop along the way without really knowing where you're going all that much. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I kind of like being able to keep up with it too, which is nice, you know. She gives you just enough of the pattern to be able to do it within the week's time. So that's really excellent. So that's project number 2 that I'm working on. I'm going away for the coming weekend, leaving on Wednesday, so I'm probably going to pack all these things because 6-hour car ride and one way, and so my husband always drives, so I always have to have something to do. So that's project number 2. I have another new project I wanted to share with you. I don't think I mentioned ever on this podcast that I work part-time for the Woolly Thistle, which is an online yarn company located nearby where I live. And I started working for them toward the end of my career in healthcare. And then I just continued to work for them after I retired from healthcare. And it keeps me on my feet and moving about, and that's good. So keeps my bones healthy and muscles healthy. Plus I get to touch yarn all day. I only work there 2 days a week, but I have started to help them out with including more crochet in their repertoire of patterns and just ideas and how their yarn can work with crochet patterns. And if you are familiar with the Woolly Thistle, they are right now have started their annual sweater make-along. And so Cast On Day was just this past Friday, and I was kind of encouraged and asked if I would make a sweater along with them, but doing it obviously in crochet, since that's something that I'm working with them with, you know, in terms of bringing that more to awareness for their customers. So to that end, that's a lot to say. Long explanation for a very short thing. I have decided to, since I made the Jinan sweater, and if you're unfamiliar with that, a couple episodes back, I was making a sweater in Tunisian crochet, and I'd like to explore that a little bit more. I have made several regular crochet sweaters, and now I'm really trying to branch out and really approach Tunisian crochet for sweaters. And luckily, there are designers out there who have gone ahead of me and just said, here it is, here you go. This is a new to me designer, and her name is Kayla Wood, and her business name is K Crochets. Well, let me show you if I can get to where I need to be here. So that's her herself there modeling her sweater. This is called the Driftwood Pullover, and it is done in Tunisian crochet. So you can see that, I hope you can see in the picture, that it is a textured sweater. It is indeed a pullover, but I tend to like cardigans, so I think what I'm going to do is just convert this into a cardigan. Shouldn't be too difficult to do that. It's done in pieces, and anytime I'm doing something that's new to me, and this is fairly new to me, and I do my gauge swatch, which I didn't bring out here, but then I start with the sleeves, just so that I can really just reference gauge swatch back and forth, and it's been helpful to me in terms of getting the proper fit with the garment. Crochet tends to act a bit different than knitting, and so and Tunisian acts differently too, in addition. So what I like to do is get an idea of how the stitch pattern plays in the garment as well as plays with the ribbing. So here is the start of actually my second sleeve for this driftwood garment. And as you can see, the yarn is just gorgeous. This is actually Mountain Meadow wool, touch of twist, and this is from Buffalo, Wyoming. This is a woolly thistle yarn. It's carried by the woolly thistle. That's part of the cowl. Part of the sweater make along is to use, I think, at least 80% of their yarn. The colorway here is spruce, and this is 100% sport weight merino. And it's such a very nice, plump, round yarn. And I thought it would be really good for the stitch definition that this pullover or this garment required. So yeah, and it comes in so many different bright, beautiful colors, which the woolly thistle carries. So here is my other sleeve. This is the first sleeve I did. And you can see you can probably see it's quite a tonal yarn. And a little bit of a crease in there. But it's really picking up that textured stitch so nicely. This is a drop shoulder garment, so the sleeve, you might say, is, just by looking at it, is too short, but since it is a drop shoulder, the shoulder will probably, from the body of the garment, will come down to about here. So this will be just perfect for me in terms of length on the sleeves. So yeah, having a good time with that. Also with the sleeves, you've got quite a bit of increasing to do from the ribbing up to here, whereas the body is kind of a straight shot. So it's kind of nice to get all that shaping out of the way in the beginning. Yeah, so that is the driftwood pullover, which I'm turning into a cardigan. And by K Crochets, I'm using a, let's see, it's actually a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter Tunisian hook. This is down a size from her hook. She uses an H, which is a 5 millimeter hook. I found after I did my gauge swatch, it was kind of close, but then when I started my sleeve with the H hook, it was just, the stitches were just getting a little too loosey-goosey. So I decided to go down one size, and that's why I start with the sleeves, because they're easier to rip out than, than either a front or a back on a garment. All right, so that's all with crochet. And moving on to knitting now, and my biggest news is my Fiberfest shawl is done. If you've been here for the past couple episodes, you have endured the saga of my Fiberfest shawl. I had to rip it out twice. the actual brioche border part of it. But once I started putting lifelines in every 4 rows, it was golden. I didn't make any mistakes after that, and I think it's just a psychological thing sometimes, right? You know you've got a safety net, so it's smooth sailing from there on out. If you're unfamiliar with the Fiberfest shawl, this is it. This is Stephen West's Fiberfest shawl. And like I've said in the past, it's designed to kind of use those special skeins of yarn that you get at fiber festivals. I used 3 colors. It calls for 3 colors. I used this yellow, which is a mystery fiber, but it is a fingering weight yarn. This is a fingering weight yarn from Hope Made Yarn Co., who's an indie dyer from New Jersey. And this is merino cashmere nylon. And then I also use Dirty Water Dye Works and also merino cashmere nylon. This is her Bayberry colorway in the Bertha base. This is all that's left of color A, this little nugget. I knew I was going to have enough though, because I weighed my yarn as I went along, and hopefully I've put some footage in the beginning so you can actually see the whole thing, because it's hard to view it here. But here it is, my Fiberfest shawl, and so happy with it, really. I'm so glad I decided to do the full thing, the full repeats, and the I-cord bind off, which took a while as well. Woo! Yep. So this is a commitment, these shawls. Here is the reverse. So the yellow really plays a dominant role on the back side of the shawl. But I like how it's featured in the border on the right side. I understand that Stephen West is about to start his next shawl make-along, and I believe I heard that this year is his 15th year of doing mystery make-alongs with his shawls. So congratulations. Wow, that's great. I wish everybody good luck on the shawl. I'm glad mine's done. Yay. And I will be wearing it soon, because it is... Matter of fact, maybe I'll just put it on now. Because there is getting to be a nip in the air. So yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful shawl, and well worth the trouble that I went to make it. But no, it was fine. Lessons are always learned, right? And sometimes they're learned the hard way. Always put in a lifeline when you're doing brioche or lace. So it's a good rule of thumb in knitting. All right, so my Fiberfest. And then last episode, I showed you something that I started knitting as just kind of a break for my brain while I was knitting this. And that is the Wharf Street Vest by Elizabeth Smith. She is a pattern designer, a knitwear pattern designer from Maine. And let me see if I can just show you a picture of the vest. I just have black and white, so that's her showing off the vest. It is very textured vest, but it's only a 4-row repeat, and it's very easy to memorize it. So once you get started, and it's just kind of plug and play. I am making mine in Harrisville Highland wool, and this is the Sage colorway. It's very pretty green. Every so now and then you get a little hint, just a little hint of pink in there, a little hint of red. Everything comes equipped with dog hair in my house. And here is how far I've gotten. Not too far, because I was spending a lot of time finishing up the Stephen West shawl, as well as putting some yardage onto my Janie joggers. But here is the vest. Oh, it's just so pretty. Elizabeth Smith's patterns are just a joy to follow. Everything's just so logically written. And also they're easy to alter if you need to alter them. But, and working with Harrisville Highland wool, which is their worsted weight yarn, is a joy as well. So yeah, it's a very pretty stitch. And I think Elizabeth wrote in her pattern she was inspired by the cobblestones on Wharf Street. So that's where the name comes from. Wharf Street is a street in Portland, Maine, I believe, which is in and around where she lives. So yeah, I like to know sometimes where the inspiration for pattern names comes from. So that's the Wharf Street. Kind of like working with a worsted weight after working with a fingering weight for as long as I did for the shawl. You almost feel like you're at warp speed, you know, when you're working with a worsted weight yarn, especially one like this. So very bouncy, very springy type of yarn. All right, and finally, today, since I got my Stephen West shawl off the blocking mat and the ends woven in and pictures taken and all that good stuff, I decided that I needed to wind up some yarn. And so I wound up my own yarn. And as you know, this is something that I've been wanting to do. This is The Shift by Dre Renee Knits. She's also known as Andrea Mowry. Yeah, so a nice little cowl. 3 different colors of yarn. I believe she used Spin Cycle in hers, but she is a hand spinner herself. So she kind of gears her patterns towards the hand spinner. I've shown these before, but these are going to look different because now I've caked them up. But this first one is a Hello Yarn roving that I got in a monthly club that I was in with them. This is from January this year, 2024. Paint by number is what they're calling the colorway. And it's Targhee, Bamboo Viscose, and Tussa Silk Top, 80-10-10. Yeah. And I have about 220 yards of this. This is another Hello Yarn. And this is just 100% Targhee wool top. I have about 229 yards of this, and the colorway is called Will of the Wisp. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. And then this one was gifted to me. This is from Miss Babs, which is also 80% wool and Tussa Silk top. So got a lot of silk going on here. This is over 200 yards as well. And all these nice blue-green type of colors in there. So yeah, I am really jonesing to get this casted on. It requires a, let's see, US 5 needle, recommended. So we'll see. I'll start it and see where I get with the type of gauge with my yarn versus the yarn that she used here. Spin Cycle dyed in the wool. Yarns she used were Leaf, The Meadows, and The Castle. Yeah, and I think she had about 200 yards of each. So I'm well within that amount. So yeah, so kind of fun. I have them in this box so I can admire them without dropping them all over the place. So hopefully you'll see that next time around. All right, so nothing else in spinning this week. Yeah, like I said, I was putting some time into the joggers and into other things, into starting that, getting this done, and starting the sweater make-along for the Woolly Thistle. So if you fancy starting, there's still time. They have a lot of suggestions on their website about what patterns and kits that they have and that sort of thing. I did record a segment for them regarding some crochet options of sweaters, and I do believe that segment will be airing this coming Friday. So that will be the 6th, September 6th, this Friday. So yeah, so other than that, just a little garden update. I know I was supposed to do that progressively along the summer, but my my garden took a hit. My tomatoes took a hit from blight this year, and it hasn't been quite as bad as this year. This year, before it, the blight would actually hit the leaves and the fruit was left unaffected. This year, the blight hit the fruit, which was kind of disappointing. What I started to do was take some of the green fruit off as soon as it started turning red, so that I could wash it really well and try to stop that whole process. There is still a lot of green fruit out there for the tomatoes. We have enjoyed some of the tomatoes. Around this time of year, it just doesn't get warm enough anymore for them to ripen on the vine. So a lot of times I need to take them inside and just kind of ripen them inside artificially. But other than that, we've had a few peppers. We've had some squash. My yellow crookneck squash is coming in now. And I have a couple of spaghetti squash out there that I need to pick yet. So yeah, I mean, we've had, some bounty, not as much as I expected, but anytime you garden, you have to expect that. So not too bad. And yeah, so that's about it for a garden update. The sheep are doing great out there. We're about to get some hay in for them from a local farmer who sells us some hay. And that's pretty much it. So that's going to do it. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. So until then, keep crafting, stay healthy, and take care of yourself. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.